Hello, my name is Rachel Pratt, and I did my project on Eclipse, which is the third movie of the Twilight series. So our movie has three main characters. Our first one is Bella Swan, who is a high school student at Forks High School. We have Edward Cullen, who is also a student at Forks High School, but he is secretly a vampire. And then our third main character is Jacob Black. He's a high school student, but he goes to school on reservation because he is in a Native American tribe and he is a werewolf. Some of our other characters that will be important is Alice Cullen, who is Edward's sister. She can see the future, so keep that in mind. And then our other two important characters are Victoria and Riley, and they will be seeking revenge on Edward and the Cullen family and Bella for killing her longtime boyfriend and lover. So this movie takes place in Forks, Washington in the year of 2006. It spans across about a 2 to 3 month time period. And the emotional vibes that I got throughout the whole movie is a lot of love, jealousy, and anger. And it's something that kind of goes across all of the movies throughout the series. So the movie starts out with Bella telling Edward how much she would like to be turned into a vampire, and Edward telling Bella how much he would like to marry her. So they come to a compromise that Bella will just be turned into a vampire after graduation. So our next big thing that happens is that Edward takes Bella on a trip to Florida in order to see her mom before graduation. And then during that time, Victoria actually comes to Forks in order to find Bella. So once they get back, Jacob spills the beans to Bella about what had happened while she was gone, and she becomes angry with Edward. So she goes to Jacob to the reservation, and while they're talking, he kisses her because he's also in love with her, and she punches him, sprains her hand, and then Jacob finds out that she will be turning into a vampire after graduation, and he becomes very upset. So then next it shows how there is an army being formed by Victoria and Riley, and the Cullens become aware of it, and so they start training with the werewolves in order to prepare for this army who is coming to attack the Cullens to get back for killing Victoria's longtime lover. So the night before the battle, Edward and Bella are spending the night, and they become engaged. So then the next morning, they are spending the day with Jacob, and it comes out to Jacob that they are engaged, and Bella wanted to keep it a secret for a while so that he didn't upset her. So he becomes very upset and is very angry, and so he starts to go off to battle when Bella asks him to kiss her. So they kiss, and then he goes off to battle. They're able to kill Victoria and Riley and all the army, and so at the very end, Jacob, though, does get injured by one of the newborns, which the newborns are new vampires who are very strong, and most of his bones get smashed, and so they take him off and try and fix him, and then later on, Bella goes to visit him and to make sure he's okay, and he's continuously trying to persuade her to not become a vampire because werewolves and vampires are natural enemies. And at the very end of the movie, it ends with Bella and Edward setting a date for their wedding. So within the movie, Bella has two very important relationships with both Edward and Jacob. And within those relationships, she has a lot of struggles and a small amount of successes within them. So with her relationship with Edward, they both have differentiating opinions about whether or not she should become a vampire. Bella would really like to become a vampire, but Edward knows what it's like to be a vampire and really wants her to stay human. Another struggle that they have is when Edward and Bella go to Florida, and Edward doesn't tell her the truth about the trip, and that he was just trying to keep her away from Victoria. And she's upset about that he didn't tell her the truth. Another example of a struggle that they had is when Bella wants to go visit Jacob, and Edward knows that he's a dangerous person because of him being a werewolf. He can't always control his temper, and he just wants Bella to stay safe, but Bella ignores his concerns and goes and visits Jacob anyways. One success that they did have within the relationship is the compromise that they made, that Bella said that she would marry Edward soon, not in like 10 years that she wanted to do, but that she would marry him a few months later, and only if he would turn her into a vampire afterwards. Our Bella's relationship with Jacob doesn't have as many struggles, but she also doesn't have any successes with him. So a similar problem that she has with Jacob is Jacob also does not want her to become a vampire because they're natural enemies and he doesn't like vampires at all. And so, again, Bella still wants to become a vampire. And then another problem that we have throughout the entire series almost is that Bella continues to string Jacob along. Jacob is madly in love with Bella, and I do believe that Bella loves Jacob, but I know that she knows that she's going to spend the rest of her life with Edward, and she knows that she doesn't want to end up with Jacob, but she continues to string him along and to not just let him go free. And then at the very end, Bella keeps it a secret that they're engaged because she wanted to make him not angry before the battle. But once he does find out about the engagement, Bella lets him kiss her in front of Edward. And Edward wasn't mad about it, but it goes back to Bella continuously stringing along Jacob with him being in love with her. So some advice that I would give Bella in order to have better relationships with both Jacob and Edward is to listen more. She does a lot of talking and she's really good at communicating her feelings throughout the whole movie, but she doesn't do a great job at really listening to what they have to say in their opinions and consider them and let them influence her decisions, especially with her wanting to become a vampire because they both have very strong opinions toward her becoming a vampire. My next piece of advice is to just be honest with herself. She knows that she loves Jacob and she loves Edward, but the difference is that she's in love with Edward and she wants to spend the rest of her life with him, and that is why she's becoming a vampire. And she needs to accept that she doesn't want to be with Jacob in that way, and again, she needs to stop stringing him along because she needs just to be honest with herself about her feelings. Another piece of advice is to watch her intimacy with others. There are a few times within the movie where her and Jacob hug whenever they see each other, which is totally fine. It's okay for her to be hugging Jacob, but for her to be kissing him when he's angry over the fact that she is engaged to Edward, in my eyes, isn't okay because, again, it's just stringing along Jacob. It's giving him the wrong idea, and she's going to end up with Edward because she's engaged to him. Another piece of advice is to never force someone to do something in the name of love. So there have been multiple times throughout the series where Bella says to Edward, like, if you love me, you will turn me into a vampire. And it's unfair for her to do that to Jake or to Edward because in his mind, he doesn't want her to become a vampire because he loves her and he thinks that that would be the best thing for her. And to force him and make him feel that the only way that he can show her that he loves her is to turn her into a vampire is not fair to Edward. And then my last piece of advice is that sometimes it's okay to do something that you don't necessarily want to do in order to make the other person happy. There's multiple times throughout the movie that Edward tells Bella that he doesn't want her spending time with Jacob because he's dangerous. He's a werewolf. He wants to keep her safe. And she just blatantly ignores him and goes and spends time with Jacob. And, well, Edward shouldn't be controlling Bella. She should still be careful to his feelings and do things that will make both Edward happy and her happy because at the end of the day, you do need to compromise in a relationship. And it can't always just be about you. And sometimes I feel like Bella is selfish in that way and that she's focused more about herself and herself being happy than what both her and